So as I said a few weeks ago when we had our annual meeting, we were going to start a new series for the month of September. Does anybody remember that?
Yes.
I'm testing you on your memory. We got 2 people. All right, awesome. That's good. We're going to be starting a new series called Operation Be Like Jesus. And it's been on my heart for a long time to do this series because I feel that we live in such a world that is very hopeless, that is very lost, that is very dark. And by doing this series, I am actually doing a call to action for the church here. Now, this is going to require you to do work beyond Sunday mornings. This is not just a come Sunday mornings and enjoy the sermon and then you forget it by Monday morning. This is something that you have to embody the characteristics of Christ. To be like Jesus. It is called Operation Be Like Jesus because I think Jesus is the greatest example of love there ever is. You know, Jesus was love. He showed love, and he extended love. And we're going to be learning the next few weeks on how we can be love, how we can show love, and how we can extend love to our community, to our city, to our province, to everyone around us, how we can do that. So the month of September is going to be a call to action for the family church. This is going to require us to do work, to be the hands and the feet of Jesus in our community. And most importantly, it's going to be a call to action for us to embody the love of Christ in ourselves. So we are going to be loving on our community. And how are we going to love on our community? You're thinking, oh, DR, you got lots of work for us. No, it's pretty simple. So what I did was, you know, I don't like to be boastful. And I don't think our church likes to be boastful either. We kind of like to be humble. So my heart's desire is to go through our city and drop little seeds of love in our community. And by doing that, I have created these little cards. They're back there on the table for you to grab a few. And what it says on the front, it says, you are loved. And then this one says, thank you for being you. And this one says, you are worthy. And the last one, it says, you are chosen. These are little simple messages that I think could make a big impact on someone's life. So what you do is by getting these and handing them out to people, it can be as simple as you're at a restaurant and you leave a card on the table for your waitress. It could be as simple as you're waiting in the line at Tim Hortons and God puts it on your heart to give one of the cards out. It could be as simple as God tells you to go down the street to your neighbor and just leave it at their door. It could be as simple as giving it to your son and daughter or grandchildren to let them know that they are loved, that they are chosen, and that they are worthy. Because who doesn't like to get compliments here? And so by doing this, we are giving seeds of love in our community on such a simple way of doing things. Yeah. We're not going to be prideful. We're not going to be like, look at me, I'm from the family church. Let me videotape as I give you this card, right? There's some churches that do that, and I'm like, that's not really what it's about. It's about being the love of Christ, and Jesus never had an audience. He didn't do it to show off. He did it because he actually loved people. Yes. And that is the intention behind this. So you'll see on the back of this card, it says, Operation Be Like Jesus. And on the bottom here, it says the family church. And it's not big, it's not bold, but it's there. But on the next side, it says, share your story at Operation Be Like Jesus. So I created a Facebook page for people that receive these cards to write how this card has impacted their life. Now, you can even share how it touched you by being able to give it to someone. It's just a simple way for people to feel connected during this COVID virus situation. It's really hard to feel a connection with people, right? We're so social distancing, we're so divided, but let's go out forth and give seeds of love in our community to know that we do care about people, that we do love people, and ultimately we are embodying what Christ set as an example for us, to love like he did. So in saying all that, this card is so simple, it's so small, but you never know the impact that it could have on someone's life. Operation Be Like Jesus is a call to action. So church, I'm asking you today, are you going to answer that call? Are you going to be willing to step outside of your comfort zone and give a card to someone that you may not even know?
Yes.
Are you going to step out of your comfort zone to show love to people that you may not love all the time? This is your call to answer this call of action today. And for the next few Sundays, our theme verse is going to be John 13, verses 34 to 35. So if you'll turn with me there. A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another as I have loved you, that you also love one another. By this all will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another. So in verse 34, we see that Jesus gives us a new command to love one another. Pretty simple, right? But it's not just that. He doesn't just say that we have to love one another, but we have to love one another as Christ loves us.
Right.
And how does Christ love us? His love knows no bounds when it comes to us. And that is how we are supposed to love one another. See, the word commandment in this verse is not a suggestion, but rather an authoritative prescription. See, there's kind of an equation here that if you love one another as he loves us, then people will know that you are his disciples. But if we don't love one another as Christ loves us, how do people know that we are disciples of God? Do people know that you are disciples of God by the way that you love people? Or do people just know that you're a Christian because you tell them? Oftentimes I say, I want people to see Jesus in me before I even speak a word. I want people to know the love of Christ through my actions and how I smile and how I make a difference in the room. You know, oftentimes I say that I will preach the gospel, but oftentimes I'll only use words if necessary. That the gospel should be spoken through my actions, through my love, through my expressions. Is love evident in your life? Can people see the love of Christ in your life? I'm asking you all these questions this morning to make you think and self-evaluate yourself. How do I come across when I meet people? How do I come across when I meet someone new? When I get my coffee at Tim Hortons, am I one of those customers that they dread seeing walk through the door? Or am I one of those customers that they have my coffee ready knowing that she's nice, he's nice? How do we come across as Christians? Is love evident in our lives? See, in order to be love, and to love one another, we need to understand what love is. And we aren't talking about the fluffy Valentine's Day love with the flowers and the pink and the red, and we got the fluffy balloons and all this, the cupids with the arrows. No, that's not the love that we are talking about today. The love we are talking about today is the 1 Corinthians 13 kind of love. And you'll turn with me there. I know we're going to be flipping a lot today, so bear with me. But 1 Corinthians 13 verses 4 says, love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, it always trusts, it always hopes, and it always perseveres. Love never fails. Let's say that together this morning. Love never fails. So in order for us to be love and to love one another, we need to understand what love is and what love isn't. Everybody got that this morning? We need to understand what love is and what love isn't. And if we look closely, we see that 1 Corinthians, it clearly tells us what love is and what it's not. So let's look at what love is so we can adequately embody these characteristics so that we can love as Christ loves us. So love is patient. Everybody knows that I'm not the most patient person in the world, but love is patient. Love is when you're trying to teach your toddler how to use a spoon or a fork. Love is patient when you're trying to teach your mother or your grandmother how to use technology. Love is patient when you're trying to teach grandma how to text. Love is patient. It means that you're not getting flustered, you're not getting overwhelmed, but you are patient in that moment. Love is kind. Now, who here likes it when someone is kind to you?
Yep.
When they give you a compliment, when they're nice to you, when they smile. I know it's kind of hard with a mask, but I'm always smiling at people in the store. I'm like, oh goodness, they can't even see my smile. But love is kind. It's caring about those around you. You see, kindness is communicated not only by words, but by actions as well. See, love is kind. Love rejoices the truth. Love looks like telling people the truth. Now, husbands, I'm not telling you to say when your wife asks you if that dress makes her look big. Be careful. But no, love is telling the truth. Even when it hurts someone, the truth is always better than a lie. Love is truth. Love is rejoicing with truth. And then love always protects. You know, I know that if I'm ever in a situation where I'm in danger and when I need help, I can always call my mom and dad. Now, they might not answer on the first try because they never do, but I know that my parents will always protect me because that's what love is. And I'm sure that all you moms and dads and grandparents, you would love to protect your kids from all harm in this world. That is what love is. Love protects. Love always trusts. Trust is kind of a hard one, isn't it? Trust is one of those things which, when someone breaks your trust, you can't easily trust them again. But love is going above and beyond what happened with that person and choosing to trust them anyways. Now, you use wisdom, right? But love always extends trust. Love always hopes. Now, who here always hopes for good things to happen? Who here always hopes that when it's your birthday you get something awesome? Who here hopes when it's Christmas time and you've been telling your wife that you want this thing and you hope that you actually get it? Because love hopes for things. It expects that good things are going to happen. That is what love is. And love always perseveres. I love that word. I love perseverance. I love that no matter what, I believe that love will always come out. No matter what comes against me, I know that my God always will love me. No matter how many times I mess up, my God is always going to love me and call me his daughter. Because love always perseveres. And lastly, what love is, love never fails. Love never fails. This 1 Corinthians love, it never fails. If we talk about that Valentine's Day kind of love, it's only temporary. But this 1 Corinthians love will never fail if you have all these characteristics within you. Because that is the love of Christ.
Hallelujah.
So we've talked about what love is. Now let's talk about what love isn't. So in 1 Corinthians it goes on to say, love does not envy. Love does not look at someone and think, man, I wish I had their car. Man, I wish that I had their house. Or man, I wish I had their bank account. I mean, we do that with some people, right? But love is not envy. If we let envy in our life, that causes a division. And then when that division happens, then that causes judgment. And you judge someone because you let that envy into your life. Love is not envy. Love is not boastful. Love is not boastful. You don't do something with the intention to be seen doing it, right? Now, I don't know how many of you have Facebook, but there's this meme that goes around, this picture where this guy is giving money to the homeless, and he has his phone out recording him, giving it to him. That is being boastful about your actions, but love is to be done in secret. It's not to be proud. It's not to be boastful or to show what you have done, but to let God's love show through you. And I jumped ahead and it said, love is not proud. Love does not mean that you got to be there and be like, yeah, I love so-and-so. Love is not meant to be a proud thing, but a humble thing. Love is not to be self-seeking. Love is not about you. I'm sorry, but it shouldn't be about you. It's about what you're doing for the other person and that you care about that person. And love is not easily angered. It's one of those things where when I love people and they get hurt and they get in a trouble with someone, I get angry because I want to protect them. But love shouldn't be a thing that makes you easily angered about something. It really should just make you feel full of hope and let the love of Christ enter into you. So next it says, love does not keep record of wrongs. So there is no book. Now, if you have a book like this at home, please throw it out when you get home. Of all the wrong things that your husband has done or all the wrong things that your wife has done. Love does not keep record of wrong things. In saying that love chooses to forgive. We shouldn't let things that people have done to us in the past harbor in us. Because when we do and we choose to dwell on that issue or that word that they said about you, we let that consume us. But love does not keep record of everything that that person said. Love chooses to forgive them and let it go. We need to choose to be love and not to keep record of their wrongs. And lastly, it says, love does not delight in evil. Love does not delight in evil. Love is exactly what it says before. Love is patient. Love is kind. It rejoices with the truth, and it always protects, it always trusts, it always hopes, and it always perseveres. Love never fails. So we've looked at what love is not. And we noticed that love is less about us and more about who we are loving. If we can change our perspective from what can I get out of this situation? How can I benefit from this situation? How can I look good in this situation? If we change our perspective from that to choosing to see, how can I love this person more? How can I make this person feel important? How can I choose to make this person feel worthy and chosen and loved? That is what love is. And if we choose to be like that, then we are embodying Christ's love. See, when we look at the different times where we see Jesus is extending love in the Bible, his intentions are not about himself. It's not to boost his ego. It's not to make him feel good or to make him look better than everybody else. His intentions is simply this. Because he cares and he loves that person. See, when we get our intentions corrected, then it becomes less about us and more about the people we are loving and caring about. See, choosing to love someone isn't always the easiest choice. Now, most of you have been married or are married. Do you wake up every morning and think, wow, I choose to love you today? Choosing to love someone isn't easy all the time because, let's be frank, people are annoying, people frustrate you, people say things to you that hurt your feelings, and it's hard to love people in the way that it is pointed out in 1 Corinthians. It's hard to always be kind to someone. It's hard to always trust someone. Choosing to love someone isn't the easiest choice in the world. You know what's easy? Choosing to judge someone. You know, we see someone walking down the street, and automatically we choose to judge them without even knowing them. You know, we've had a homeless problem in Woodstock. And many times we see these homeless people on the street, but do we actually go up to them? Do we actually go to love on them? Or do we just go on the other side of the street to avoid them? See, it's easy to make the choice to judge someone, but it always isn't easy to choose to love someone. You know what's another easy choice to make? Is choosing to do what's best for you. I'm preaching to myself this morning, it just got real quiet. Choosing to do what's best for you. So what makes you look good sometimes is more important than actually choosing to love someone. I know we've all done it. I've done it. I've avoided people because I don't want to be associated with them outside in the grocery store. Or I've avoided a homeless person because, yeah, I didn't want to connect with them. Sometimes we get so consumed by what's best for us that we forget that there's other people in the world and that we are called to love those people. We get so consumed by us, and I've said this multiple times in my sermons. We live in such an I society. I this, I that, iPhone, iPad, I want, I need, I want that. But you see, the love of Christ is less about us and more about Him and more about the other people around us that we can love. It's easy to make the decision to do what's best for you. You know what's another easy decision to make? It's easy to look down upon someone because they are different than you. Whether that is because they are younger, whether that is because they are older, whether that is because they dress very different from you, whether that is because they are not a Christian. So we tend to look down on people who are not Christians, right, as lesser valued than us. It's an easy choice to look down upon someone, but we need to be choosing to love these people. Choosing to love someone may not be the easiest choice, but it could be the most impactful choice you can make for not only them, but also for yourself. And once we see that choosing to love someone ultimately means that we are choosing to be like Jesus, it gets a whole lot easier to choose to love someone. Because I don't know about you, but I'm not worthy to be chosen to be loved every day. I don't know about you, but I make mistakes. I mess up. And sometimes I wonder, God, why do you still love me? But God looks past my mistakes. He looks past my mess-ups, and He always chooses to extend love to me. And that is how we ought to be when we go into our community. When we interact with people, we need to choose to not be judgmental on their outer appearance or what we've heard about them from so-and-so said this. But we need to choose to go beyond the surface and actually get to know them and plant seeds of love in their life, to plant seeds of encouragement, to embody the characteristics that is Jesus in us, walking through us and living through us every day. Oftentimes, too many Christians just go to church on Sunday and that's it. They've done their deed. But we are called to be the hands and feet of Jesus. We are called to love those around us as God loves us.
Amen.
Now, I don't know about you, but God doesn't just love me on Sunday mornings. But He chooses to love me every single day of the week, every moment. So as we go forth, we need to choose to love every single person we meet. Because you might be the only experience they have with Jesus. And that holds a lot of weight. We can't let our pride interfere with the Great Commission. We are called to go out and make disciples. We are not called to sit in our chair and keep to our circle, but we are called to broaden our horizons and go out and be the hands and feet of Jesus, to love one another as He loves us.
Amen.
See, when we choose to love someone, we ultimately are choosing to be like Jesus. And it gets a whole lot easier when we choose to love someone because we know how much Jesus truly loves us. When we look around the world today, the world views love as this temporary thing.
Yes.
We see people fall in love, and they fall out of love just as fast. You know, I love this kind of brand of chips, but sometimes I get tired of it and I fall out of love with it, right? In this world, we view love as this temporary thing that we can move on from thing to thing. But Christian love does not mean that a person tries to create feelings within himself towards another person. See, that's what the world does. We think, oh, this person has this same liking, they enjoy this, they do that, their personality is great. We think we check all the boxes. And so then we create these feelings in our life for that person. We create these feelings and emotions, but sometimes those feelings and emotions run out, right? It's like when you do the timer with the sand, it just slowly drains out. That is what the world views love as. But Christian love looks like 1 Corinthians love, where your actions, your words, and your feelings are grounded in love. The more we act towards one another in love, the more it becomes easier. And the more it becomes easier, the more it becomes who we are. And ultimately then, when it becomes who we are ultimately embodying the characteristics of Christ. See, love is not just a feeling. Love is not just an emotion. Love is not just an emoji, if you know what that is. But you see, when the Bible gives teachings on love, the center of love is usually the will, not the emotions. Let me say that again one more time. The center of love is usually the will, not the emotions. It is the willingness to love someone despite how you may feel. Despite how you might think about them. Despite how they might look. Despite all these things. It is choosing to love someone despite what you are feeling. There's got to be a willingness in your heart to love people. If you don't have that willingness, how are you expected to love someone if your heart is closed off? It is the willingness to love someone despite how you may feel. Love is more than a feeling, but the willingness to love one another. See, God is so willing to love us no matter what. But what do we offer that same willingness to love those around us? Are we letting our love guide us as we go through life, or are we letting our feelings guide us? Because if we let our feelings guide us, well, I don't really feel like doing that. I don't really feel like going to church today. I don't really feel like getting up and going to the coffee place. I don't really feel like this. I don't really feel like going to talking to so-and-so. I don't really feel, but if we choose to let our love guide us instead of our feelings, man, we would be awesome. We would be embodying Christ, and we would be the army of God walking forward, choosing to love on those around us. Because it's the love that empowers us to go forth. It's the love that gets us out of our comfort zone. It's the love that chooses to see beyond the outward appearance of someone and knowing that there is something in that person that is worthy and chosen by God. So that person is worthy and chosen to us. When we let love guide us, the impact we have is far greater than our feelings or emotions. I don't know if anybody here has ever heard about the book 5 Love Languages. I find it kind of interesting. So basically the author believes that each person has a love language on how they receive love and how they give love. So the 5 love languages are physical touch, meaning they receive love by holding hands, by hugging. That's how they receive love or give love. The second one is words of affirmation, meaning that to them they feel love when people give them compliments, when people affirm them, when people tell them they're doing a good job. The third one is quality time. They feel loved when someone just chooses to sit with them and spend time with them. They feel loved when someone chooses to sit and watch TV with them or calls them up for a coffee date. Whatever, quality time. Number 4 is acts of service. They feel loved when someone does something for them. You know, I love it in the morning when my cat makes my coffee and has it ready for me. Still training them on that one, but I would love for someone to have coffee ready for me. Acts of service, meaning they go and beyond their way to help someone and to show that they are loved. The last one is receiving gifts. They feel loved when someone buys them something. When they know that someone was thinking about them when they were in the store and saw this thing and thought, man, that would be perfect for so-and-so. And they give it to them. They feel loved when they receive gifts. And I love this stuff because it helps you to understand how you receive love. And it helps you to understand how you give love. Like for me, my love languages is I love words of affirmation. I love to be told how great I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I need to be affirmed so I feel loved. That is my love language. But the way that I give love is very different. I give love by buying gifts for people. I love to find the perfect thing that so-and-so loves, or if you tell me you like something, and I remember it, and I see it in a store, I'll buy it for you. That is how I love on people. Now, I love all the other things. I love spending time with people, but as an introvert, I need my space. I need time away from people. So quality time is like, yeah, it's kind of there, but also get away from me. But you all have your own types of love language, and it's important to understand what they are so you can adequately communicate to the people that love you so they know how to love you. And so there's 5 love languages, but I believe that there's a 6th love language. And that is the love of Christ.
Amen.
And one way that God delivers that message is through you and me.
That's right.
See, we all have that love language in us. We all can receive the love of Christ. And we all can give the love of Christ. You see, one way that God delivers that message is through us. And we are God's personal love carriers. And as we carry that love and deliver that love to a world that desperately needs it, and let's be honest, our world needs a lot of love. Our world needs a lot of hope. And our world needs a lot of light in this dark time. But as we are God's love carriers, we need to make sure that we are adequately representing God by delivering a love that is patient, a love that is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth.
Right.
It always protects. It always trusts. It always hopes. And it always perseveres. Love never fails. Now imagine for a moment, there's probably about 40 of us here this morning. Imagine the impact that the 40 of us can make in this world if we choose to carry this kind of love with us wherever we go. The little number that we are has the opportunity to multiply through every action we have with people.
Yeah. Amen.
We have the opportunity to start a domino effect in the city. And it all starts with us. Because guess what, guys? Words fail. Actions fail. Plans fail. But love never fails. And if we let God's love be our guide, you never know whose life you might impact. You never know whose life you might change for the better just by choosing to let love guide you. So as we go forth this week and the rest of September, I encourage you to take some Operation Be Like Jesus cards with you. And to ask God, Lord, bring me to people that need to hear your love. Bring me to people that need to know they are worthy. Bring me to people that need to know that they are chosen and that someone is thankful for them being them. Pray and meditate and let God guide you as you go forth this week. And choose to let love be your guide. Because we need to start planting seeds of love in our community. Because our community, our city, our country, and our world needs the love of Christ. And it all starts with you. So let's start a domino effect in the city of Woodstock and spread the love of Christ together.